c'est la prod.
AYG, do you think me, bro?
What is going on, people? Welcome back to episode number 2 of your new favorite show on YouTube. I know it's my favorite show. I know it's Jacob's favorite show because he hasn't streamed since episode 1. So he clearly waits for this episode every week. Episode 2 of Just Saying with Jacob and Staffy. And Jacob, I don't think you realized what we did. It was completely an accident, and I only realized it today. We put Just Saying with Jacob and Staffy, and when you think about it, the first word is just and is Jacob and saying Staffy. So we accidentally put 2 words that kind of have the same initials as ours.
No, I don't want to try and steal your like newfound, oh, we're actually more creative than we think we are. I did, whenever we were tossing the idea around, I did think, I was like, what kind of show titles, simple, good, like that has our initials, SJ or JS? And
so you did this on purpose.
I did do it on purpose.
Okay.
You know? A lot of people do give me a lot of props for United Spurs. Well, hey, you know, we're all creative in our own ways. Some butterflies have, or I was going to say, some birds have peacock feathers and others look like crows.
Interesting. Well, I never didn't give you enough credit for that, but you know what? It is what it is. This was 100% on Jacob. I thought I discovered something, but it was on purpose this whole time. But anyways, you guys already know what you're going to do. We're live on 2 channels. We're live on Jacob's channel, United Spurs of America, and we're live again on my channel, Staffy TV. So what you guys are going to do is, whether you're tuning in from my stream or his stream, this is going to be a habit every week. You're going to like the stream on both videos, and you're going to subscribe to both channels, because why not? And you know what? I noticed today, and don't ask me why. I'm gonna start this every time. I'm gonna look up before I stream what's today, what's so special about today. So today is Ghana Independence Day. Don't ask me why I know that. Don't ask me why I brought it up. I'm not Ghanaian.
Shout out Ghana.
You're not Ghanaian, but shout out to my Ghanaians. And
you know, I think I've had a couple views from Ghana before.
Oh,
when I've looked at the, you know, have you ever done that where you look at the YouTube analytics
where you look at like
see,
your demographics?
Yeah, and it's not a lot. It's like 0.001%.
I have 5 people in Ghana. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's nice. You know,
the Spurs ever have like any Ghanaian players that are like notable?
None that I can remember because, hey, look, Elijah's half Ghanaian. Big up, Elijah. Yeah, there you go.
Listen,
So
Elijah's half Ghanaian,
that's
half
my Spurs
complaining.
Ghanaian.
That's
There
what he
you
is.
go.
He always complains about us being late. Listen, Elijah, I'm gonna tell you this. I said this to Jacob before we went live, and I'm gonna tell you this
Just got
right
hit
now.
with the dust storm warning,
Stop sending me, by the way, those pictures. Don't,
bro.
when you
It's
tried to
been a
video
rough
call me
week.
yesterday, I knew it was because of that. I didn't answer because I knew it would be about dust.
It looked like Dune. Have you ever seen Dune? It's crazy out here lately.
I'm not gonna lie, like I just grew up in Egypt, so I always saw that. So it's really not as special to me as you think. I know I I live in the East Coast, but trust me, I grew up watching that.
Just want to
But
give you a slice of home. Bring it to you.
are you
via the
just trying to remind me? All right, fair enough, fair enough.
phone.
But yeah, Elijah, listen, I was saying this to Jacob. I'm gonna say it to you now here. When I say I'm going live at a certain time, brother, I'm not the airport. I'm not telling you that your flight is gonna departure at 7, so it's actually gonna depart at 7. If I'm live 7:05, 7:10, hey, 6:59, you just gotta accept it, Elijah, because you know what? There's no refunds or anything like that if you miss your timing. But shout out to all of you guys. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. And no, Eto is not Ghanaian. I don't know what the hell the chat is saying. It's crazy that anyone just said that Eto's Ghanaian. He's Cameroonian, and we all know that. But away from all that, let's leave AFCON because we're not on our Jamie Carragher settings right now, and let's come back to the Premier League. Because today we're gonna talk about United. We're gonna talk about Spurs, and we're gonna talk a little bit about NBA today because there's a couple topics that are trending, as you can see in our title and in the background. Stephen A. Smith and LeBron. So we kind of want to keep the show a little bit more diverse. So everyone gets a little bit, everyone gets a piece of the pie. You don't get the whole pie where it's all Spurs or United. We're gonna give everyone a piece of the pie. So for people who like NBA, hey, we'll talk some NBA today. James, should we start with Spurs?
It's not even like about the game in basketball. It's more just about the drama,
Politics in the game, yeah.
Yeah, and like the big news, like yeah. So that took me by surprise. Actually, I put a poll in my chat. It says, "What would you like to see talked about the most?" And it's tied, a 3-way tie, a little menage a trois at the top there.
Yeah, what they say.
Between the LeBron family drama, I want to pick the topic with the parentheses of comment. So like comment what you want the topic to be, and another 29% ... Spurs ...
So we will talk Spurs for sure. It's a matter of what we're gonna talk about first. And no, Surya, we're not gonna talk about the Knicks because guess what? Right before we went live, Jalen Brunson is now gonna be out for about 2 more weeks. So I have 2 more miserable weeks of sports. I don't know why I do this to myself. I told Griggs yesterday I'm signing up for art classes because I need a new hobby. So I'm leaving streaming, I'm leaving football, I'm leaving basketball, and I'm about to become an artist. Yes. So
what's the
artistic
art?
Staffy, we will be there.
What's the art? You said
I don't know, bro. I'm just gonna go like draw on canvases or something. I don't know. I'm gonna learn something. Just anything to
Okay.
take me away from this misery.
Okay. I mean, I feel that way. Like, when Luca got traded, now Kyrie tore his ACL. To me, that just helped the agenda that I was forming post Luca trade. The way that this organization's running, I just said, I'm going to root for whoever you're playing against to prove a point that you're fools. And they continually prove themselves to be the fools. And so
I think that was
there's
just
that
karma.
clip of Kyrie. Was that?
I think it was just karma. Bad karma got Dallas. That's all it is.
No, see, that's just not nice. But I don't know if it was karma. But I do know Nico Harrison, if I speak, I will be in big trouble because I don't want to put anything out there with my face and name on it. But
Listen, I will say this. I think if Nico Harris was on the Knicks and he traded away Luca, if Luca was on the Knicks, hypothetically speaking, I don't think he'll be safely walking the streets of New York. I'm just saying Dallas are better people than us. That the fact that
well, he doesn't walk through the streets of Dallas, and even still, like the Metroplex is just a large area. I don't think he's left his house since. I mean, we know he was in LA because that really cool photo when Luca first time playing against the Mavs, he did win because it was a big fuck you to Dallas Mavericks. So yeah, he did have a triple double, which is kind of what he's done his entire career. So yeah, get rid of him because he likes a hookah. I think is why they got rid of him.
There's nothing wrong with look. Have you ever wondered what are these?
The hookah.
That's every flavor of hookah I smoked. Well, not every flavor I ever smoked, but that I just didn't throw away. And there's more rows behind.
Okay.
Anyways, nothing wrong with smoking hookah, Luca.
I mean, I used to do that when I was like
That's
being a rebel in high school, and was like, "Whoa, I got a head buzz."
Definitely shouldn't do that.
I got in trouble. My mama, I came home one time and she was like, "What you been doing? You been smoking something?" And I was like, "I've been smoking the hookah." She grilled me, and I cracked under pressure pretty quickly. So
Interesting. Speaking of pressure, and speaking of hookah and Luca, let's go back to LA since we're talking about this. Let's get to our first topic. Let's just put the video and then we'll kind of explain the context after. Or should we explain it as we're watching?
yeah, because
Basically,
ESPN
guys, if you want to go ahead and explain it. Jay.
Well, from what I understand, is that LeBron, it was the fourth quarter, and I'm actually, I haven't even looked up the scores from last night. I was working. It was my Friday
It went
night.
to OT, so it was like, it was,
Did they
I
win
think
or
they were like
lose?
down 2 over here or something.
This was the fourth quarter, though, is what I understood. So it's the fourth quarter. The team is having a little huddle, and LeBron James decides, I'm going to go say something to Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith was just chilling, and then it didn't look like a friendly conversation, basically. So then Stephen A. was basically forced today to do a segment on it on ESPN because everyone was really talking about it. And it's crazy because, the conspiracy theorist in me, Staffy, they've been doing the LeBron versus MJ debate for whatever reason. I guess basketball's got slow news. And now it's LeBron versus Stephen A. Smith. I think this is just a marketing ploy to keep LeBron in the limelight, my personal opinion.
Well, I'm gonna give my thoughts about it in the end, but in this video, you'll see the interaction that happened in the game, and then Stephen A. Smith today on First Take came out and actually explained himself. So we'll watch this quick clip and we'll react to it. I'll give you my thoughts. I don't even know Jacob's thoughts. I swear, like we haven't even spoken about it like that. So we just say, yo, let's just bring it up today. So let's watch the clip first.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing.
By the way, I want you to notice that he kind of, the way he's speaking, he's very like monotoned, and I feel like he's kind of like acting like a victim. And I kind of don't like that.
I do like the suit though. That suit is nice.
I'm not gonna lie, it's clean. I looked at that.
Bro, how many tones of pink you got on that hoe? That's nice. Bubble gum inside, lemon meringue on the outside. I don't know, but it's very nice. That's a fresh suit.
You're looking like he's representing Dunkin' Donuts with all this pink. But I'm not gonna lie, whoever his suit plug is, he's doing a great job. He deserves a raise. That's
yeah. The suit dude's doing something nice.
I thought long and hard about this.
Hey yo,
over the last few hours because I
said
had
long
no
and hard.
intentions while
That's
he
crazy.
was talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one. I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one.
Bro, he absolutely is looking like a victim right now.
But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral.
Strawberry icing donuts.
So ultimately, it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now.
I love how he pretends, by the way, I keep pausing it just so we can avoid any monetization, and sorry, not monetization, copyright issues, because you never know.
Because then it becomes fair use. Oh, but Staffy, whenever I did this about other YouTubers, like, don't you use other people's content? How dare you?
YouTubers are bigger than Stephen A. Smith and ESPN. But let's let's continue. Let's continue with the sobbing Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
You can't be mean to a guy in a pink
That
suit,
wasn't
though.
a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard.
But he's taking some accountability here.
He's a wonderful family man and a wonderful father.
Well, I do, if you want to pause there for a second, I do like what he says there in the regards of who was speaking to me was not a basketball player. It was a father. And to be fair, bro, I have no words to explain what I would do if someone, but then again, I see it from Stephen A's point of view as well. It's like, you're putting yourself in the public limelight, Bronny, by trying to be an NBA player. And naturally, if your name is Bronny James Jr., they're going to compare you to the senior version if he was anyone in the sport. I mean, they've even done it to Stephen Curry. They've done it to countless players in the NBA specifically that whose fathers play and then their sons play. I mean, think about Ronaldo's kid plays. Messi's kid playing, they're going to be under such big scrutiny because they are the biggest athlete of that generation. So their next generation will absolutely garner, I think, just criticism, attention, heat, love, and unnecessarily amounts of both. And that's, I see it both ways, like as a father defending your child, but then also I see it from a media standpoint. Your son is trying to be a professional athlete. He's simply saying what he thinks, the clips that I've seen circulating about what Stephen A said about his son or whatever. I don't know. I think it was kind of a weird move from both all parties involved.
Yeah. And I actually have, listen, I'm gonna be very objective about this. I actually have I'm kind of down the middle on this one. So at the end, I want to finish the video first and kind of give my thoughts on this. For people who don't know why this all happened to begin with, it was basically because Stephen A. Smith, and if you don't know who Stephen A. Smith is, he's just a pundit when it comes to basketball. He's very controversial. Most people don't like him. Most people find him funny. He's one that kind of divides the fan base, and he's kind of known for usually saying that LeBron is not the GOAT, it's MJ. But this all started with him a couple weeks ago to a couple months ago. I can't remember when, where basically he came out and said that LeBron James is kind of exposing his son. Because basically what it is that he's in the NBA just because of his dad, but he's not ready to play in the NBA. He should have probably been in the G League. He should have probably played a couple more years in college, develop, get ready with that age group, and then eventually make it to the NBA. I kind of hear it from that perspective. But clearly LeBron didn't really take that well. He just thinks that he's picking on his son because of him. So that's why he's like, just leave my fucking son out of this. But let's continue.
And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called. Because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man.
Bro hit him with the Oski. Bro hit him with the Oski. Yeah, hey, I'll fly you out. No, I'm gonna fly myself out. No, I'm gonna fly you out. Like you could have hit me. You could have hit my line. You gotta do this shit at the game. I do kind of see that perspective as well.
But let me stop you here, actually, because I thought the same thing until I saw someone actually post this. I don't have that clip, but someone posted on Twitter and I watched that. There was a video where Stephen A. Smith got criticized before by, I think it was when KD criticized him, something like that. And he said, basically, in his own words, he said, if NBA players ever have an issue with me, with anything I say, I have no problem that when they see me at games, they confront me about it. Oh, you wrote a check, and when LeBron tried to cash it, you didn't have the funds, Stephen A. Smith. You can't say, if you see me, talk to me about it, but then you say, oh, but your agent has my number. You could have tried to call me. He basically did what you said. Maybe it would have been the smarter thing to do or the professional thing to do. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we gotta like highlight these things. But let's continue with Mr. Stephen A. Smith here as he's about to cry.
But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Mainoo, head of William Morris and
He did pull up.
One of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them.
Bro, pause it real quick. Look how just the size difference of LeBron. Bro, if I'm Stephen A. Smith chilling courtside, I'm not trying to throw hands with. That is bro, that's a grown ass man. I mean, yeah, this is a dude who's on television, and television is for what? Entertainment purposes, right? News, etc. And he's a personality. He is his own enterprise, so to speak. Like if he got off of ESPN and got on YouTube, he'd have millions of subs within 24 hours. So
he has to me, channel. He just doesn't go live on it as much. Oh, you talking about LeBron or Stephen A?
Stephen A. Think about if he was
Yeah.
exclusive to his own brand or whatever.
He
Think
gets
about how
paid
much.
too much though to just be exclusive. Like I
Today
think he
the-
just got extended for 100 million.
100 mil for 5 years, bro. That's 20 mil a year to just run his mouth. And like you said, a father of gargantuan size in comparison said, I didn't know that he said pull up on me at the game. I feel
He
like
did,
that's
he
one
did.
of those where you'd be like, hit my line and I'll
He said it
catch a
actually on
flight.
his channel. Someone posted that clip onto. I should have probably saved it and put it on this show. But he actually did mention it on his YouTube channel one time. He said, if a player ever has an issue, I have no problem with them confronting me. But let's see if
you're
go ahead.
No, if you're Stephen A. Smith right there and a dude that size larger than you is pulling up, and think about the angle. We're from a few rows up. The camera angle is looking down, so it's even making LeBron look smaller than he is. I mean,
Stephen A. Smith is actually a tall guy as well. So for
bro's
him to
looking at his sternum.
he looks so inferior in size, and he's tall, bro. Like Stephen A. Smith is like, I think he's like 6'5", maybe. Like, so he's not a short guy. He's actually tall. And look how tiny he looks next to LeBron.
The game.
No, I wouldn't say
He
shit.
walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting.
Of course
But
you're
if
not.
we had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all-stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it.
Percolating.
And when I said the things that
I love when they
said,
use just big words.
I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was.
All right, I think we could stop it here because listen, there's not much that he offers here. He just gave it.
I love that face. That's a good stopping point.
He's basically saying I'm not attacking Bronny. I'm just saying, you know, I was talking about LeBron putting him in this spot. But here's one more thing I want to bring up before we give an honest assessment on this. Now, here's where I start going against LeBron a little bit. Now, at the end of the day, what Stephen A. Smith did was talk about an NBA player. Yes, he's LeBron's son, but I don't think just because you're LeBron's son does it mean that now everyone has to walk on eggshells around you and not speak about your son as an NBA player. Because none of it was personal talk, to be fair. All of it was about, you know, is he ready for the NBA? Is he good enough for the NBA? It was just everything that had to do with basketball, nothing personal. Now, here's another thing that was brought up today, and I was like, you know what? This is very important. LeBron is a little bit upset with this, but let's not forget that LeBron is the same person that tweeted this. This was before
You're gonna
Bronny
have to
even
zoom
made it
that
to the
in.
NBA.
I can't see that.
Let me zoom in. So this tweet was a year before Bronny got drafted, and this is from LeBron's official Twitter account. It says, "Man, Bronny definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Shit, lightweight, hilarious." You basically talked shit and basically said your son is better than half these players in the league. Your son
He
comes
said
into the
some.
league.
He said some, not half.
Sorry, some of them.
Some of these cats he's been seeing on League.
So
Pass.
you basically talk some shit saying, I back my son against most of these players. When your son is not living up to the shit talk that you've done, and people are saying, you know what, he doesn't look like he's a good enough NBA player, there's no way you can get upset. You put your son under the limelight. You set that light on him. You put him in that spotlight that he can't live up to for now, at least. So when people start talking about him in the way that you made a mistake, oh, like we all thought, like, oh, the way he's talking about him, he must be something. He comes into the league and he's very below average. He's doing well in the G League, where he should be to develop his game. I don't think LeBron can sit here and start crying and act victimized as well and try to be, oh, that great father figure when you're the one who hyped up your son. I mean, let's just be honest. You told us something that he's not. So why are you upset right now that someone is coming back to collect that receipt? That's all I'm saying.
And the G League, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically like the championship that no one gets relegated to, though.
I would say the
It's
under
where
21s more like that. The under 21s.
no, because
Because the G League is a bunch of young players. The championship, there's
no,
the
that's not
senior.
true. That's not true. I used to work for the Dallas Mavericks version, which was the Texas Legends was their name. And there was players who balled out week in, week out in that league for them, that whenever they got their call up to the big boy league, they didn't look that great. So like, to me, you have to dominate the G League to even show a sign of something decent in the NBA, at least in my amateur progression opinion, because I've witnessed it firsthand. I'm like, wow, these guys can ball. They're really good. And then they go to the NBA, they get their call up because there's injuries or whatever. I've seen them go to the Knicks or the Nets. I've seen them go to the Mavericks and stuff. And different teams will pull from the G League whenever they have injuries, etc. So in that sense, it is like the U21s. It is like your academy, basically. But because every team has a G League partner that like is their like academy, if you will. So it does kind of sound like that, but I'm going to put it in the way, like, I've seen players who are decent to above average in the championship go to the Premier League and they're below average. And then you see the same, where a player who dominates in the championship, well, he goes to the Premier League and he looks half good. So to me, you got to dominate the G League. I haven't been keeping up with the G League, so I don't really know what Bronny James is doing. I don't watch him like that. I don't really give a damn. At this point, it's becoming keeping up with the Kardashians, because Bronny now going around, I'm a slapbox Stephen A. Smith. Bro, I think LeBron should have some shame. He should. The setting is weird, bro. It's the fourth quarter, and you're eventually going to go to overtime playing these teams. And what are you doing? You're going up to Stephen A. saying, "Don't talk about my son." I mean, bro, if it was really bothering you, maybe you say something before the game. Maybe you say something. I guess maybe he didn't see him and then he saw him and then was like, "Oh, I'm gonna say something to him." Maybe after the game is when you say something to him. I don't know why during a team timeout is the time in which you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna walk up." And again, the size discrepancy, you're picking on a child at that point, LeBron. You need to find some shame. You're a fucking gigantic, muscular professional athlete, been playing in the professional league, one of the most dominant players over the course of your career for the entirety of the 20 plus years you've been playing, and you're bowing up to a fucking TV personality, which you know they're smaller in person than they look on the screen. So to me, yeah, MJ would never, Nessie. MJ would never do that bullshit, because MJ is the fucking GOAT. And that's the end of discussion. Like, maybe it's an amalgamation of him talking about his son and then him always saying, you know, MJ's the GOAT, doesn't matter. Because again, I tried to bring that up because I think that has something to do with it. Why would he say something now? Why is now I think it's because the conversations surrounding the GOAT debate have been on the mainstream media for
It was
the
only
last
because of Kai
week.
Cenat, to be fair. I don't know why they even did that. I was surprised that I saw Kai Cenat.
It's
on
because
ESPN.
Speed went on CBS.
Which, by the way, I thought that was awkward.
That
as
was
well.
great. I liked it.
It kind of like towards the end after they did
It
the race, it
definitely-
was kind of cool. But at first it was weird. But before we
Jamie
get into
Carragher was fucking kind of grilling him, kind of being a dickhead at first.
it was being weird. I'm not gonna I felt like the dynamic
He
between
was
him
more
and
doing
Jamie
like,
Carragher
why
was
are
weird.
you even famous? Like, what are you good at? What's your specialty?
Bro?
You know,
It's like
it was
what-
really
what is-
weird. Big
The
bro.
dynamics between a guy from Merseyside and a little kid from Ohio. I mean, it's just weird. I thought it was weird at first. I thought it was forced. I thought CBS was just trying to get views. They wanted a couple.
No,
clips
if
after
Thierry
that.
Henry is actually friends with Speed, and they've
No,
worked
well,
together.
he got
on
invited
shit.
because CBS. But hold on, we're going away from what we're trying to talk about. Anyways, maybe we can talk about that in a second. Back to what we were saying about Kai Cenat.
What are you
and-
famous for, lad? Sorry.
And Mike Rich is calling him ISO Speed every time. It was weird. Like, why didn't you just call him Speed? He's like, I should be. I was like, bro, I thought it was weird.
Bro,
Anyways,
he
just
was
going,
twerking hardcore. He's kind of fangirl. He's like,
bro, he
shout
was
out
like,
my
oh,
Instagram.
can you call me out? And he
Shout
put
out
his
my Instagram. That was weird. I was like,
See,
bro.
now I want to move on from grilling LeBron and Stephen A to grilling them because now I'm even more angry, and that wasn't even on the agenda today. But anyways, listen, let's just wrap up this segment so we can move on to whatever we want. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, LeBron, if you're offended by anyone talking about your son, maybe you should have not built him up to what you wanted everyone to believe that he is versus what the reality of he is. And unless someone really spoke about him personally, which I don't think anyone did, I don't think you should be that upset. Stephen A. Smith could be annoying sometimes. He does a little bit go overboard. But at the end of the day, he's doing his job that he's been doing for 20, 30 years right now, which is just talking about players. Even if he's
job is to run
he's
his
done
mouth.
it fairly with everyone. I mean, bro, even in New York, they don't like him. And he's from New York, and they don't like him here. They don't like him. But let us know your thoughts in the comments, by the way, what you guys think. If you're watching this on the replay, obviously smash a like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts on the whole situation.
And big up everybody in the chat as well. Appreciate
big
y'all
up
being here.
everyone in
Big
the
up
chat. Make sure you like the
Shoshi,
video on
Nessie,
both
Surya,
channels.
Yes. If you are on United Spurs of America, you can see at Staffy TV in the description of the video. It's not hard to find. I'll also put the link in the chat for y'all later. But Staffy. Oh, big up Hassam for the raid. I don't know who, you or me. I can't really tell, but big up to Hassam for the raid either way. Big up to everyone coming on over from the Hassam raid.
They tuned in at the perfect time because we're kind of switching to footy now, and you know.
Oh yeah.
It's a great time.
Do we have to?
Yes, because both our teams are shit, and there's a lot to talk about. Let me tell you guys this: me and Jacob were so annoyed with our teams yesterday that we postponed the show by a day. We were supposed to go live yesterday, and I couldn't be bothered. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. And then Jacob was like, you know what? I can't be bothered either. So I was like, all right, perfect. I'll see you tomorrow. And then today I actually had the time to talk about it, and Jacob still didn't want to talk about it. But Jacob, we got to talk about Spurs before we move on. Shout out Hassam. Last week we rated Jacob. This week we rate Staffy. Big up both. Thank you, Hassam. I will be live on Hassam's channel tomorrow anyways, inshallah. So make sure you guys put that down. I think it was like 8:30. So tomorrow 8:30 you'll see me on Hassam's channel. Let's talk about Spurs, Jacob.
No, let's do United.
We'll talk about there's more news about United, so it's quicker to get Spurs out of the way. Unless you had anything.
Gotham's burning. Today. It's continued to burning.
We need to talk about that. You haven't been live for a week, so you owe your fan base that.
I know, but I don't want to talk about Tottenham. No, I do. It's just it's becoming repetitive, and at the end of the day, when you're starting to lose some of the last things that you were holding on to in regards of like a defensible. To me, it feels. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
No. I'm very bad when it comes to
There's a character called Yeah, you don't watch shit unless it's
I really
garbage,
don't. I'm sorry, guys. Like, if you ever have this idea that Staffy sits there and he stares at a wall and watches paint dry, you're most likely right. I don't do a lot of TV watching. I'm sorry.
I don't know what's wrong with you. A
lot,
but that's just.
But that's a different conversation.
Bro, you need to talk to a therapist, bro. Or just I'll recommend some shows to you, like The Sopranos. It's from your fucking neighborhood. You should love The Sopranos.
Yeah, I'm walking here.
Yeah, where's the gabagoo? Yeah, Tony, I don't know if we should be walking down the street right here.
Yeah, I'm walking here. I swear,
yeah, I'm walking it. But Tottenham were not walking anywhere. They were just getting dominated. A quick
They're walking out of
synopsis of the game. Well, you win 3-0 at home versus them, then all that goes away. But who knows which one, is going to happen. I certainly don't. And I think any Tottenham creator, no matter how they felt about Ainge or this team, there's just no predicting what version of us are going to show up. We had 8 days rest, and Son looked worse than with 3 days rest. Madison did absolute fuck all. And those are our two captains. And then our captain, pseudo-captain, Vicario, after the match is like, hey, everyone, let's go. Come on. Come on. And they're like, fuck you. Don't tell me how to feel, Vicario. And it's really weird. The disconnect has been an insane level of disconnect between the fans, the club, the players. Usually it's like the fans and the players at least love each other, the fans like the manager, the fans like the club, and it's just kind of everyone doesn't like everything. And to me, I thought when we were, getting rejected by 3-4 managers in a summer, I thought that would be the end of it. That's the lowest. That's the lowest we could get. And now it looks like, I mean, if you didn't want to fucking work for Tottenham before, why would anyone want to work here, in the summer? I just don't even know what to say about Tottenham at this point other than it's a utter failure. It's shambles right now, and it has been for some time. But this is a clear result of an amalgamation of misrunning a club for an extensive amount of time. Some would say 20 years, at least since I've been watching and been a fan and supporting and rooting the fucking guys on. We ain't won a fucking trophy. So,
No, but hold on, let me bring you back a little bit because I feel like, unfortunately, when it comes to United and Tottenham conversations, it's very easy sometimes, and I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way, for what you're saying.
now
But
my
it's very
head's
easy
starting to hurt,
sometimes to go away from the result and kind of talk about the years that led to us being a little bit of, not a little bit, but leading to us being failures of institutions, at least on the pitch. You're doing better than me financially, at least as a club. But when it comes to on the pitch, we're both failing. I didn't watch the game because it was the same time as United. I watched the highlights, however. I heard some of the stats, such as 0 shots on target in 90 minutes. Obviously, conceded an own goal.
I think it was
All
the
the highlights would
88th
basically show
minute.
me
No. 88th minute is when we got our first shot on target.
I
And
heard
I'm
it was
pretty
like a
sure
cross.
Odebert was trying to cross it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was a cross, but ended up being like a shot.
I think
Either
he
way,
shanked
a
the
shot on
cross.
target doesn't save it. I mean, one shot on target, there you go.
The French Pele agenda has died right then and there.
Bro, and
They told me
Pele,
French Pele, and I just tried to run with it. Like, yeah.
Bro, we're gonna talk about Tele because Tele, I'm hearing Tele, I told you so, that he wasn't that great. Even though, I mean, I kind of wanted him for depth. But
I don't think what we've seen of Matthias Tell is the version of Matthias Tell that he currently actually is or will be, if that helps at all. It's not making a good case for shall we fork out
did he
60
start or come
mil.
off the bench? Because as I said, I didn't watch the game.
He started.
So who did you start in the front three? Because I know Solanke played.
It
Did
was
did Solanke come
Son,
off the bench?
Son, Tell, yeah, and he got injured fucking 15 minutes later. And then everyone said that was Ainge's fault, which I don't know. When two people fucking do this and he's right here, that's not on Ainge, in my opinion, the Solanke injury. But he started Tell through the middle, Son on the left, and Brendan Johnson on the right. Brendan Johnson got a full 90 minutes, and I don't remember one fucking good thing he did. Not one fucking, I just remember back passes and shit like that. So not one thing that I can recall constituting other than he could probably be at least able to run around for 90 minutes, which is arguably not true. I would say not true. He's I'm trying to watch. I'm trying to watch my mouth here. But Brennan Johnson, I don't know one good thing he did. Son didn't do statistically any good things, and now people are dropping low light reels of Son, which to me, he's my fucking club legend. Him and Harry Kane, were two of the club legends I got to actually watch, and not just fucking look at black and white reels of Jimmy Greaves or Glenn Hoddle. It's like these are the ones, and I feel like the club has failed them both over the years, and we're just watching Son die slower in front of our eyes. Kane left. He's going to go win a Bundesliga, which I guess they give you a big ass plate to eat schnitzel off of, which is fun. Kind of like
It's
a
a
4th of
good-looking
July
trophy.
party.
It's a good look.
It's a what?
It's a good looking trophy.
The dish? The big ass plate? I mean, if you have a big ass house like these millionaires do, I bet it is a fun little trophy to have at home because you can fucking put mashed potatoes and green beans and then whatever other mushy stuff. People in England still eat like it's war times, which is crazy.
England hype, but that's a different conversation.
When you say what's y'all's favorite food and they say curry, it's like, oh okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a famous English dish.
Yeah, the good old English curry, native to the lands. But I digress. What were we talking about? I see how quickly I
We're
get away
talking
from
about
Tottenham.
why Son is saying this is a wake up call when the wake up call should have been like 5 years ago.
Bro, the wake up call.
This is worse than the wake up call. I
It's
had
an
for work
arbitrary
today.
number. It's an
wanna know
arbitrary
what
number.
happened
But
in
to
my
say
work call
this is
today?
the wake up call is crazy.
Jacob, my wake up call today said, "Stuff, you got work in 30 minutes." Guess when I actually woke up? I woke up 20 minutes after work. So it took me about 40 minutes to actually realize the wake up call. That's what the wake up call. That's the wake up call Son is talking about. What wake up call, Son? You have lost 18 games.
You know how you
This
hit
is
the
wake up call,
snooze?
not the first 17.
You
18
know,
is where you wake up.
When I take a nap sometimes in the middle of the day, I'll tell my wife, wake me up in an hour. And she tries. That's the wake up call. But then I get up and I'm like, I feel like shit. I slept too long. This is a wake up call. Don't be sleeping that long. No, I actually missed the actual wake up call. I think Kane missed the wake up call. There's a reason players, and I grew to hate this motherfucker, Eric Dyer. He's about to win a trophy as well. Davinson Sanchez, Tongi and Dombele, Brian Hill, whenever we loaned him out, he also got a trophy, and he's still coming back, I think, that motherfucker. And
They gave him a
who
card in
else?
Ultimate Team,
Bro,
so
the
he must
list
be good.
won Foyth. He also went and won a trophy in his first year after leaving us. Nuno Espirito Santos goes to Saudi, wins that league in his next season after us. It's a weird thing how we have so many curses at this club that just, I've always resonated with the flying pig, Staffy, for a few reasons. Because I don't
The
want...
United fan.
No, like the actual like flying pig. Not the channel flying pig.
I thought you
Like,
were
shout
talking
out
about the
to-
channel. Why are you giving me a
not-
haram reference? Talking about flying pigs. Astaghfirullah.
Because
Ramadan.
it's a thing. It's because people always say, "Oh yeah, I'll believe that whenever pigs fly." It's like that's never gonna happen. And so I've always resonated with the pig that can fly, because it's like, motherfucker, you told me what I couldn't do and I did it. And that's what a flying pig signifies for me. Maybe that's just some weird hillbilly shit out here in Texas, but for me, a flying pig, it stands for like, proving people wrong as
Yeah,
much
when
as they
pigs
said
fly,
you'll
that's
never
gonna happen.
do
I know
some
it's-
shit. Yeah. And so for me, it's like a big fuck you right back to him. I'm flying, bitch. And Tottenham, I've just keep holding out hope that we will be the aforementioned pig, but all we do is roll around in the shit, eat the mush, the slop, and then that's it. And we just stay down here. We're not flying. There's no flying. Pegasus. That's a good. That's a good one. Pegasus. But yeah, getting bashed over the head, and they do that shit here in El Paso. They have pig farms. You go grab them and fucking eat them and stuff. It's crazy. When that happened, I was so traumatized as a child. I was like 6, 7 years old. My uncle's like, "Come on, let's go catch a pig," and we're like, "Woohoo! This is fun, chasing a
You
pig."
eat them on the day.
Dude, they bonk him in that face with a hammer, bro. This isn't like a
And you
Disney
watched that as a
movie.
kid?
Yeah, and I also watched Babe in the Big City, Babe the pig, the singing pig or whatever. I watched that shit as a kid.
Wait,
That'll
how'd you
do,
feel when
pig.
you saw them kill the pig then?
Traumatized? I still fucking think about that. The screech is haunting.
Let me tell you something. Actually, now
It's
that you
fucked
said
up.
that, I don't know if I should share this. Okay, so let me tell you this. In Islam, in our religion, we have two holidays under the name Eid. There's Eid Fitr, which is right after Ramadan, so it's going to be in a month or less. There's Eid al-Adha. Adha is basically a holiday that we sacrifice an animal, most likely a sheep or a lamb. A sheep, a cow, a goat, and you feast on this animal with your family. And if you could, you give a lot of food away to the needy. So, anyways, don't ask me why. This is gonna sound a little bit psychotic. I actually used to go to the butchers and just sit there for a couple hours and actually watch them do the process of slaughtering the animals.
Maybe this is why you stare at the wall rather than watch a TV show that's meant to fucking, take the edge off. You're like, I want to watch animals get slaughtered for me.
I swear to
That's-
God, I used to watch it. I used to think it's okay. So They
Yeah,
used to.
Staffy's confirmed psycho. I agree with that, bro.
I'm not.
I feel like I want to
It might
hug
be
you, but then
psycho.
also don't because I might get slaughtered. You
It
might
might be
be the
psycho.
terrifier.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't like seeing animals in pain. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, okay. So when
When
they
I
used to
found
slaughter
out what they
cows
do
and-
there, I was like, I'm never stepping foot there. I'll eat that motherfucker, but
bro, I used to go on purpose. So there was a butcher down the street from us.
no, you got.
And I would literally, after we finish our own food, I would leave the family. I would just go there for a couple hours. Swear to God, but I used to watch them try to basically slaughter a cow. So a cow is huge. I'm like, how the fuck are they gonna slaughter this big motherfucker? And I used to go watch that. I don't know why I shared that. I think it's just because you mentioned the whole thing about pigs. You were traumatized. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. I just found it fascinating to watch. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. Let me just go.
You know
watch.
who else did? Ed Gein. He found that interesting.
Who's
the
that?
slaughtering, the Ted. Also Jeffrey Dahmer. Ed Gein was a guy who he's a famous serial killer. He like
See,
wore
but-
his
but-
victims.
No, you just compared me to a serial killer.
Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based lightly off of Ed Gein and his
tell
family
you
because they were
this.
crazy and I think they ran a slaughterhouse.
As much as I watched that, I've never harmed an animal in my life. I'm actually very, when it comes to animals, I have a very, very, very soft spot more than people think. I don't know. I just used to
Staffy
go.
Dahmer.
Staffy Dahmer is crazy. Let's not start this. Let's go back to the football because maybe I shared the story that I've shared. And people are now gonna think that I enjoy fucking pain. Maybe it makes sense that I watch United. If I can endure an animal being slaughtered, what is United football compared to that? I mean, it's a lot worse. But
Yeah,
you-
because your star boy wants to leave, right? Mainoo's pretty much done with you.
No, we're
just
gonna-
like all the other.
hold on.
United
Before we
fans.
move on to Mainoo, you playing Bournemouth. And did I ever tell you guys? Actually, I love whenever we bring up Bournemouth because I love to ask the infamous question. Did I ever tell you guys my Bournemouth story? I know you all heard it, but every time we mention Bournemouth, I will ask the question. Jacob, have you ever heard my Bournemouth story?
No.
What? I
don't
thought
think
you were
I've
gonna be
ever
like,
heard
Steph, I heard it 10 times enough.
I can't remember. I don't know where this is going because I'm still
Oh, you
thinking
never heard
about
my
the
Bournemouth
poor
story?
animals with the fucking air gun thing.
Well, anyways, I'm glad you asked.
No,
the
I
only
haven't.
reason I
Heard,
say
sorry,
that-
I haven't heard your Bournemouth story, Staffy. What's your Bournemouth story?
I'm glad you asked. My Bournemouth story is basically I like to tell people that I'm from Bournemouth. Am I actually from Bournemouth? No. Was I born in Bournemouth? No. So why do I say I'm from Bournemouth? It's because when I went to England, I spent literally 7 days, a whole week living in Bournemouth. And basically the first stadium I've ever seen was Vitality Stadium. Smallest stadium I've ever seen. So I like to pretend that I'm a Bournemouth native. So when people say your team is in the mud, I like to remind them that I'm a Bournemouth fan, and Bournemouth are actually doing well in the Premier League. So you are about to face my hometown team, aka the Cherries, on the weekend. What are you saying about that?
Cherries are meant to be flavorings in food and pie, not a football
pot.
club. Well, at the appropriate consenting age, sure. Which you can't say about certain footballers that people put on pedestals, but we don't have to go there.
Cherry, oh my god. He said at the appropriate age and consent, sure. Didn't mean that, but anyways.
Sorry, I saw Trent Alexander-Arnold rank Benzema over R9, and I was like,
He ranked Hazard
just made
over
me think
Salah as
about,
well.
legal stuff. We'll just leave that there.
We won't talk about that. We talk about too much fucked up shit today. We can't talk about animal slaughtering and then talk
And
about
then pivot into
this.
Benzema. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
we can't do that.
What was the question? What
You're
was the
facing
question?
Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, we're playing Bournemouth. I don't know if Bournemouth choose to press us ever so slightly, we will crumble like AZ Alkmaar, which I remember joking about Alkmaar. I said that sounds like a Saudi Arabian team, and then we barely beat them 1-0 at home in the first time we played them, and then it was Alkmaar, AZ Alkmaar.
Al-Qamar. If I try to make that into an Arabic word, it would be Al-Qamar is closer to the word Kumar. Or as
Oh,
we
like
say
Harold
it.
and Kumar.
So there's a word called Kumar, and I think it's pronounced a little bit different, but it's the same letters, which is basically we say in Egyptian it's umur, which is gambling. So that's the only. So their name is the gambling team. There you go.
Well, it's a gambling city, I suppose, but apparently it's in the Netherlands. And the first time we beat them was off of a Charleston penalty conversion, 1-0. And then we lose 1-0 off of a Lucas Bergvall skip to my Lou, flicking to the. I mean, if he did that at the other end, bro, I'd be talking a lot of shit right now. But he did it to Vicario, and it was unfortunate because I don't know who gets to. I don't know who could save that kind of a shot, but I don't know what version of us show up versus Kumar is an authentic Bournemouth word.
There's a little bit of sarcasm there from Mocha. But Mocha is a member on one of our channels, which is why I shouted out their comment.
Big up to the member. Big up David Shear. I just saw. So Staffy puts a cherry on top. Oh my God. Yes, I guess so.
David Shear, you're a member, but I purposely ignored your comment because
that's
there's
mean.
information there.
Well, I will say shout out David Shear every single time. He's a big supporter of both of our channels. And
until I see him back in my chat, I'm not going to shout him out.
Well, what I'm going to say is who's going to finish higher, me or you?
It's a mid-off right now.
Well,
it's a toss-up. But you'd probably fancy your chances because this weekend I'm facing the almighty Gooners. And no, AB, yeah, Humar is not a horse. You're not about to teach me my own language. Humar is a donkey, not a horse. Just like you are. For thinking Humar means a horse. You are the Humar. Now go learn some Arabic. But speaking of donkeys, anyone who thinks United is going to get a result this weekend is a donkey. Because we don't really stand a chance, do we?
Well, I'm going to say you do. Because when the cards are stacked up against you and your back is on the metaphorical wall, no Ayo, you got to do something, either fight or die. And I think that Amerheem is going to show up this weekend when y'all play Arsenal. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Because you're saying I'm a donkey for feeling that way. But, you know, other people have called me worse for feeling differently about Ainge. So I'm fine with being a donkey because as far as I understand it, Donkey from Shrek has done financially very, very well. Eddie Murphy. So it's a whole franchise he makes a bunch of money from. So, yeah, go ahead and get the result, Amerheem. I don't know how you're going to score, who's going to score, but, you know, maybe Ellen DeGeneres' stepson will actually do something this weekend. More than... wasn't someone posting his praises the other day? I saw that on Twitter. Someone saying, look at his stats, and then someone was making fun of him for looking at his stats.
Oh, Statman Dave.
I don't know. Someone was being like, yeah, Garnacho, but then the people quote tweeting it was like, no, fuck him.
All right, so here's the thing about Statman Dave. Statman Dave, if you go to Statman Dave on Twitter and look at all his tweets, he will give you 4 tweets in a row about United players on the day, and it would always be praise. But you never see United win. So it's like, if all these players are so good and all these stats are so good, how come we didn't win? He put Garnacho's stats basically from the game on Thursday against who the hell did we play again? Real Sociedad. I don't know. I had a lapse of focus.
Yeah, good draw versus a tough Spanish side.
No, we should have won that game, but he looked so bad. He's so bad. I said on my stream, on my watch along, if I had $1 for every time Garnacho kicked the side net, I'd probably have enough money to buy the club from Ineos because he does it about 2-3 times a game. It's so repetitive. He's so bad in his funnel.
Well, Ronaldo do that.
Sorry?
Ronaldo's done that, so it's, you know.
Don't let me go back
he's just
to
doing his Ronaldo
comments.
impression. Like, I'm walking out of the stadium before the game's over.
Bro, he was wearing Ronaldo boots from 2004. It's the gimmick is becoming too annoying right now.
Did the Puskas volley and then was like hit the Ronaldo celly, which is weird glazing because he scored a fucking hell of a goal that you'll never be able to replicate again. And your first thought was to do a CR7 celly. It's weird. But
the point is, anyways, Statman Dave just hypes him up, and I retweet it. I say, is he for real or is he a troll account? Because it's like you put stats, and I appreciate people who put stats online after because it kind of gives you clarity on some of the things that you saw. But he was basically saying United's most effective attacker. he was nowhere near the most effective attacker. The one time he actually decided to pass, we scored. And I was like, look, he got an assist. There's so many times that where he should have passed and he doesn't. And it's a bit frustrating. But anyways, back to the team. Listen, bro. That game we should have won. And I think the worst thing about it is now that we know on Thursday, instead of going with what I think it should have been at least 2-goal lead going into Thursday, playing just Sociedad at home. And if you're up 2-0, all you need to do is not lose by 2 or more, which makes the job a lot easier. Now we have to reserve a lot of our energy and our intensity for the Thursday game while playing Arsenal on Sunday, who, by the way, just won 7-1. So they know that midweek they're about to put like 11 reserves on this team, and they're still going to advance versus PSV. So they can put all their energy against us on Sunday, which is why I don't think we have a chance. Not to mention still some of our injuries. And even if we had a fully fit squad, we just can't go toe-to-toe with them. And I'm hearing people say, play Cheeto Obi. Please leave the kid alone. Don't ask me to play a 17-year-old versus arguably the best center-back partnership in the league of Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. Which,
Well,
by the way...
shit. I've asked for Mikey Moore to play against all those motherfuckers because, to me, how else are you going to find out the kid can swim?
Hold on. One more thing. I mean, it's a very tough test. When you give someone a test, you don't give them the most difficult test right away.
LeBron versus Stephen A.
Saying under the gimmick. I mean, oh my God. I'm just going to start getting angry now. I'm sitting 15th in the league. What underdog gimmick? I hate. Oh my God. We are abusing certain terms on YouTube now where like people are using it in the wrong time. It's like if I had come to you during Christmas, Jacob, and I say Happy Thanksgiving, you're going to be like, Staffy, what the fuck? It's Christmas. Why are you saying Happy Thanksgiving? What are you actually going to say when it's Thanksgiving? I'm going to be like, you know what, Jacob? You're right. Let me actually greet you with the right term for this holiday. When I sit here and I'm the 15th best team in the league, I'm basically bottom 5, bottom 6, and people saying I'm doing an underdog gimmick, then what the hell would actually be an underdog gimmick when I'm decent and I'm trying to be bad? Underdog gimmick is what Hussam did all season, saying, oh, we're not going to win the league. That's an underdog gimmick. I don't have the capabilities to pretend that I'm shit because I am shit. And back to Cheeto, because that comment pissed me off. The reason I'm saying that is because he's been talking hella smack on Arsenal. I don't know if you remember that, but we signed him from Arsenal last year because he thought he was too good to not be given first team games. And we just beat them last week in the cup, in the under 18s, and he kind of made fun of them, and he commented on under one of his teammates' Instagram post saying thank you, posted a story. Let's be honest, the first team knows that as well. So I don't want him to be targeted when it's literally a boy against men. That's the whole thing I'm worried about.
Just like with Brawny, you want to put your chest out and bang it a little bit.
I said,
don't be surprised when motherfuckers put their chest out.
So I didn't say that.
Well,
I definitely didn't say that.
It's just kind of a full circle moment here. You may be Stephen A. Smith in this regard, but guess what? He won today because everybody's talking about Stephen A. Smith. And who are they talking about him with? Arguably the greatest player for a lot of the people's generations. Not mine, obviously. MJ's Kobe Bryant in a second. And then maybe LeBron. We could, but actually Dirk's above all that too. So maybe fourth in my generation I've been fortunate to watch. But what was I saying? I was just trying to talk shit on LeBron there for a second, and that felt nice. I like talking shit on LeBron because MJ is the GOAT, and you got Kobe Bryant behind you too. I put him above that in that same conversation. But in regards to Cheeto, like with Brawny, you getting put up out there, like you're gonna talk about thanks for knocking Arsenal out this little tiny cup. Well, then guess what? We're gonna talk shit. And that's what they can hold. There was something else that I saw. I don't know who that is. Surya says that's exactly why Mikey Moore got injured. Mikey Moore got a virus that Ainge says, I don't feel comfortable talking about a child's health like that in public. So it led me to believe that he got like a venereal disease from a little Mikey Moore fun because, he's hot shit around town right now. I'm sure all the kids his age love a Mikey Moore. Maybe. I don't know. But he got thrown into the fire and he did well. And then I think he got either COVID or the aforementioned lover's disease. And that's why he's been knocked out. But, the last 2 weeks, the last 2 matches, Mikey Moore hasn't played. And the last Premier League match specifically, fucking Timo Werner got on the bench and saw microwave minutes. Mikey Moore didn't. And I said I'd slap Ainge right in the mouth for that. That pisses me off. Mikey Moore, yet again, doesn't get any fucking minutes. But Brendan Johnson can run around for 90 minutes doing fuck all. Matthias Tell got hooked at halftime for Odebert, and he didn't do fuck all. We were talking about United, and I'm getting pissed off about Tottenham. See what happens?
Yeah, I like how
It's
you
a
did that. 'Cause I was
fight.
like, you know what? We're going away from United. Man.
Yeah, I know. You're just willing. I was like, wait, he's letting me talk. There's a, oh shit, I'm talking about Tottenham. That's why. Got to get a. Mikey Moore is the GOAT. He's the English Lamine Yamal. All right. Let the man shine. You got to let the peacock fly, as they say.
Fair enough. I mean, speaking of United, do we talk about Mainoo yet? I think that's the part we've been waiting for.
Well, the main thing was he was like, nah. They were like, hey, you trying to renew the lease? You know, you trying to move in? Shit. And he said, no, thank you. And I thought that was funny because I actually really rate Kobe Mainoo. And it was fun there for like a week whenever they were like, look at Sar's performance. That was like better than Kobe Mainoo's this week. And I was like, yeah. And then it was like every single week since then it was not. And now neither one of them seem to really be in favor. Because what's going on?
Never in a debate, but I mean, Mainoo's injured, so that's different.
But he just said y'all ain't shit, right? He was like, fuck.
Well, he didn't say that.
Ass.
Not
it was a quote.
Not
he said, you ain't shit.
I mean, we're not, but he didn't say that. So here's the thing.
Well,
Mainoo today, there's news coming out from the Telegraph that is it the Telegraph or the Guardian? Apologies, it was the Guardian, not the Telegraph. I think it was James Ducker that reported
Ducker. That. I barely know her.
Anyways, what's it called? Yeah, news coming out that Mainoo is set to reject a contract offer from Manchester United, and he's gonna look to move abroad. Now, here's the thing. Everyone that reads that headline, the first thing that it says, oh, he's rejecting United, everyone assumes, oh, shit, he's trying to leave the club. Here's where I don't like when people just go by headlines and they actually don't read the article. So when you read the article, it kind of explains the reasons for his rejections and his next move. So let me just bring clarity to this situation right now. Mainoo still is on a 3-year contract with United, so he still has 3 more years. Mainoo is currently on 20K, so he's still on that rookie contract, basically, like as we would call it here in North America. Obviously, he's gonna get a pay rise, just like Ahmad. I think Ahmad was like on 30 until he got his 150 this season. So he's set to reject it. The reason he's set to reject it is because no one takes the first offer. I mean, it's always been a thing in the world, not just in sports. It's like if you got offered a job and they're like, hey, we're going to give you 70K a year. If you don't say, hey, can I get 75 or 80, then you did something wrong. You should always push for more so that you get something down the middle. Mainoo's camp is trying to get him something around 180 to 200K, which I don't think he should be getting at this age, and I don't think that's reasonable. But as much as he's going to reject they're saying he's going to reject the offer, they are saying he's willing to accept a contract under basically higher incentives, which is completely now blown out of proportion because it sounds like, oh, he's rejecting, he's requesting a transfer, he wants gone. No. The same article that said he rejected says that him and his camp are basically negotiating a bigger contract. So if you wake up one day and you see, oh, Mainoo's extended with Manchester United Football Club for about 150 to 160K a week, there you go. That was the whole point of this. Because that's the whole reason of having an agent, by the way. Because the agents come in and they're going to be like, oh, what do you offer? 100K. So you're like, nah, we're rejecting it. Agent's going to be like, oh, we think he's worth 200K. You're not going to be like, that's a little bit too much. How about we meet down the middle, 150? All right, let's shake on it and we move on. I don't think
so you're saying it's so much to do about nothing.
Sorry?
You're saying that this news that came out today is pretty much just nothing.
I think it's agent work, and I think it's like one of those days where it's like slow news day. I think he will extend. I think he will get a better contract. He should get paid more. Don't get me wrong. He's like on 20K right now, so he will get that contract. I just
no,
think
that's crazy that y'all can't get that done because whenever like with Jed Spence, it was the same thing. He came in and started becoming so pivotal 3 more years.
Like, what's the rush?
To upgrade his pay. to make him feel financially like
He had one senior year where he did well, so obviously he was always going to get extended down the line because he's proved his worth last season. But that's the same thing with Ahmed as an example. Even though Ahmed is a little bit older than him and he's been at the club longer, he balled out this year and he got his new contract. Like, I have no doubt that the club will try to extend Mainoo.
So why didn't he get his
don't-
contract after his good year that 1 year under Eric Ten Hag?
When you really look at it, this is the reason why we loaned out Rashford, an example. We loaned out Anthony. We're trying to move Casemiro on. Because you have someone like Casemiro making 350K a week, and you have Mainoo, who's better than him, making 20K. There's a discrepancy there. The minute some of these wages get moved, the players that are actually worth it will start making it. That's the same thing that happened with like Sanchez and Lukaku. The minute they got gone, Rashford eventually got his pay rise. All the other players got their pay rise. Bruno got their pay rise. Like, I don't think Mainoo should be getting 200K at this age. It's like, because here's the thing. Once you hit that, 200K is a lot for a player. Once you hit 200K, you leave little room for improvement later on for your contract. Because like,
How much?
what happens when you're prime? Like, how much am I supposed to pay you? 600K? You know what I'm saying?
How much Eminem 7 making over there?
Mason Mount, I think he's on 200.
Money Mount. He's on how much?
He's on 200.
I think he deserves at least that.
But there you go, another contract that we're trying to get off. And to be fair, Mason Mount did come in as a senior player and got that money. Like, I don't think we should have ever signed him, but he had enough years where he's won stuff and achieved stuff where you're like, oh yeah, he's kind of worth it. I don't think he was, but it's different when you're paying a 19-year-old than when you're paying a 25-year-old who's been doing that. But as I said, I mean, listen, this money's gonna be.
I mean, the thing is, how much do y'all want him? Do you want him to feel like this is my shit? I'm gonna stay.
I don't think he's
forever?
gonna force a move at the end of the day.
Or
like,
do you? No, but not just that. But think about if you are somewhere where you feel you're at a certain level, and they're not rewarding or compensating you what you feel. After a while, that's gonna build like a resentment towards the franchise.
No,
and
but
me,
he will. Here's
you're a
the thing,
club
like,
that overpays on weekly wages. You overpay the fuck out of players, and
much do you think he's
rightfully
worth?
so.
How much do you think he should be getting paid?
I think 200,000. Like at Tottenham, that would never happen because Son just recently broke 200,000 a week, which is a criminal offense. But that's just kind of how we are with players. Like Arsenal, United, y'all have spent absorbent amount of wages on Mason Mount making 200 mil. I think he deserves in and around that, maybe 180. Maybe
But you're comparing them to a contract that we're trying to move on. Listen, I hear what you're saying.
But I feel like the what you're trying to do with that contract now has nothing to do with if I'm Mainoo, right? I'm looking at it from Mainoo's perspective.
You shouldn't get paid 200K after 1 year. I don't think so. I don't agree with that at all. I think he should be somewhere around 150, 160, 170 max. Because that's what Ahmed got. And Ahmed, at the end of the day, he earned that contract with the amount of goals that he scored. And Ahmed has been balling for a minute. Like, people didn't watch Ahmed, obviously, when he was in Atalanta. They didn't watch his loan when he was on Sunderland. He was literally a kid that was meant to blow up if it wasn't for Eric Ten Hag. And he finally got it at 22. Mainoo, as much as I love the kid and I want him to stay, I don't think we should go back to that rewarding insane contracts after one good year. That's one of the issues that we had over the years. And if you've done that
with a player like Mainoo so far, then that for me is a little bit more of a like get back, because I look at over the last few years, who's given you more, Mainoo or Mason Mount? But you're paying Mason Mount this, but that's looking at it from one lens. And I think the other lens that you just provided, I think gives a little bit more clear picture. You say, look at someone, a young player, more age close to Mainoo in that regard. You say, this is the wage structure that he kind of had. So what was his first contract after the year? Well, how much did they start paying him?
He's just been on the same contract. He's on 20K. So he was on 20K.
No, Diallo.
I believe Ahmed was on 30. And you have Garnacho on 50. So these are all three players that are eventually going to try to get a bigger contract. I don't think Garnacho should get paid more than Mainoo. But the minute you put Mainoo on 200K, Garnacho's going to have something similar. He's going to be like, oh, I'm a goal scorer. I deserve more money.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
That brings you back to the whole old regime. And don't forget, the people that paid Mason Mount that was the old regime that we're trying to go away from. And that's why we're trying to offload all these big contracts. I think people who make 200K plus or 250K plus, that should be like your star player, established player who are like, oh, look at me, I'm a league contender, I'm a Champions League contender, I'm winning trophies, and this is my best player. Bro, you have Van Dijk that's making a 250K. Like, I can't have my players close to these level players when they barely achieved anything. You have to leave, in my opinion, at least, you have to leave a little bit of a gap
Yeah,
where,
that's fair.
like, once you become him, you're that player. That's when I get you bumped to there. When you put yourself on 200K, first of all, that's a contract that, God forbid, let's say Mainoo gets injured or he flops or whatever. Now I have a player who's on a big contract that I want to move on because he hasn't been good enough, but his wages is so much. And I find myself back stuck in these situations again where I can't offload a Luke Shaw. I can't offload a Mason Mount. I can't offload a Casemiro. You don't want to go back to that. Like, it's insane to me right now. I want Mainoo to stay, and I think he deserves a lot more money that he gets right now. He was on a rookie contract, so fair enough. You've earned it now to get that bump. I just don't think we should be like, oh, but Mason Mount is making over 200, so he needs to make that. No, because we're trying to get rid of that Mason Mount contract anyways, because he should have never been on that. Anthony's making 220K. He should have never been on that. We got lucky that Betis is paying about 84% of their contract. So we can't judge it by these old standards, in my opinion. But you guys let us know in the chat and in the comments on your opinion on this whole Mainoo saga. Jacob, anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we hit a little bit over the 1 hour mark. So what are we saying here?
No, I think that's good. I mean, there's always plenty to talk about, but I don't want to exacerbate too many subjects there. And, we kind of did cover a wide range. If you're a butcher in the meat procuring industries, then you got a little something for you. If you're, into drama, baby mama
Can we do
drama, can we
predictions?
call it that?
Someone is asking for predictions in the chat. You know what? Maybe we should do that since we do this on Friday. Should we do predictions
For the weekend?
for the weekend? And maybe we'll mention the Champions League. I mean, not a lot of the games in the Champions League are undecided, so we don't need to go through that. But let's do predictions for the Premier League without really getting into any detail. I mean, I just pulled up the schedule. First game tomorrow is Forest at home to Man City. That's going to be a very good game. Forest are on a roll. What are you saying? You think the result is going to be?
I think Man City 2-1, 1-0, something like that.
By the
I
way,
think Man City's
Forest
still in
are
their
1
part
point
where they're
ahead
turning
of
it up.
City. Just for clarity,
Yeah.
Forest are 1 point ahead of City, so they're third in 48 points. City is fourth with 47.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's gonna be a tight one, low scoring, 2-1, 1-0. But I'm going with City because I think this is just their time when they start looking a lot better than they have before in the season. And this is
I'm gonna go with a Forest win. I think Forest
okay.
they've been one of the best teams at home, I believe, this season. I don't know what the record is, but they've been very good at home this season. I think they're just gonna be too physical for that City midfield. So I'm gonna go for a win there. And just lurking right behind them
Didn't you say
is
Rodri
Chelsea.
might be back?
Yeah, but that's gonna be later in the season. It's not
Oh,
nowhere near it, which I think is stupid. I think they should just have him sit out the season. Chelsea's lurking right behind them. They're fifth on 46 points. So this result is going to benefit them anyways because someone has to drop points and they have Leicester City. So if they win, they get 3 points and they get either fourth or third. What are you predicting? Because I think it's an easy win for Chelsea. Probably a couple goals there.
yeah. I think Chelsea are kind of going through a little bit of a rough patch too, and their goals have continued to be, from what I've heard from their manager and fans, before they did their whole, oh, we're just a chill guy in the title conversation, which was fun, but like it just kind of never really seemed like it was going to be legitimate, But it's almost kind of the same thing with City. I thought that their whole downfall wouldn't be like this year at least. And there you are. When you mention City's downfall, AI will appear. See, Vader Games is in one of our chats. Says it's a 6-pointer for top 4 hopes for City. And that's really what Bournemouth are for Tottenham. For us to finish top of the table, it's a 6-pointer versus Bournemouth. So
it is a 6-pointer. He's spot
yeah.
on. Shout out Vader. So what's your prediction?
I think Chelsea will win that by a couple goals.
Same. Liverpool Southampton, that should be an easy one. I mean, after the demolition job that PSG did, even though they didn't win, I expect a response from Liverpool there. They're at home. Southampton is just a poor team. they're a sad team. Mourinho used to call these teams that know they're getting relegated, no matter what. He's just call them sad teams. So they're a sad team, and I think they'll just get blown out the water. So I think we can both agree that Liverpool should win there.
If Allison plays, what I saw in that Champions League match, like, as a goalkeeper, someone who's like I have a fondness for goalkeepers balling the fuck out. Like, that shit almost brought me to tears. The elegance, the performance, it was just like a Beethoven symphony being heard for the first time. Imagine the fucking sticky shorts in that room when Beethoven or Bach were fucking. The first time you ever heard that shit, oh my God, my wig about to fall off. So to me, I've never seen him play that good. I'm just gonna say if Allison plays like that, no one will ever score ever. That was insane. He was a beast. So yeah, he's
Probably gonna not be needed as much though.
yeah. I don't see how they're gonna score. They couldn't score
Yeah, you
versus
better be
Tottenham.
ready for the
so.
PSG game. Some other games. What else should we? Because I don't want to go over every game. I mean, let's just mention the biggest game of the weekend. Tottenham versus Bournemouth, my team. I'm
I'm going with
you're at
2-2.
home.
2-2.
2-2. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Cherries win there, and with consent or no consent, your team is gonna get their cherries popped. This is what I'm saying.
So you picked Benzema over R9 too. All right, got it.
No, that is not what I said whatsoever. I
That's
said
what I heard.
you can consent or not, you're gonna lose to them. And I guess the biggest game of the weekend, Man United Arsenal. United at home. I'm just gonna predict. You know what?
1-0 United.
1-1. We're not gonna get a clean sheet, but
1-0 United. All right, 2-1 United.
why do you want us to win? We'd go ahead of you in the league if that happens. You're conflicted now.
No, well, City till July or whatever. You know, this way we don't have to be Liverpool till July. That's what I'm shooting for. Because, well, no, you wouldn't. Because if we beat Bournemouth, which I didn't predict us to beat, because I think they're a good side, but I think they're going to press us and we're going to see us fucking crumble. Or we're going to go out there and do a 4-1 versus Bournemouth. 4-1 for Tottenham. I see those 4-1 Bournemouth, you frauds in the chat. But I'm going to say 4-1 Tottenham if we play the way that we can and have shown. But if we show up the way that we showed for Crystal Palace, second half of Brighton, we could go through a million fucking performances this year. Well, it feels like I'm starting to lose count of all our losses. So that's why I'm saying a 2-2.
Did we just go back to Tottenham?
Yeah, God, see?
You keep doing that. It's not even Tottenham, and you just bring it back to Tottenham, and you get so angry, and then you realize that this wasn't even a Tottenham question.
Yeah, but you wouldn't pass us in my perfect world, which I don't realistically think you're gonna beat fucking Arsenal. I just want you to, because it's always funny to laugh at Arsenal, because it's like, even if I'm covered in mud, at least someone wearing an all white suit got covered in some mud. Maybe not as much as me, but it's a comfort. You know, like, alcohol is not good for your liver, but alcoholics still need that fucking, I need my little cozy drinky winky at night. And guess what? They get it. So I hope we get it too. United 2-1.
All right. And with that, that's the predictions for the Premier League this weekend. Someone was asking me prediction for the Champions League. I don't really think we need to go through that. We could if you want. Honestly, just predict Liverpool or PSG.
Eric Dyer, Champions League, fucking. That's going to be the cherry on top of Gotham.
All right, let me answer the
Eric
two
Dyer
games that are
lifting
still
that
close.
Champions League trophy.
The Madrid derby and PSG Liverpool. Madrid derby, 2-1 Real Madrid. They're going away to the Wanda Metropolitano.
Real Madrid will win that.
Did Madrid go through? Okay, I think Atleti actually come back and they qualify. And PSG Liverpool 1-0. Obviously, Liverpool. We all know what happened. Now they're bringing the Anfield, 1 goal advantage, home advantage.
Liverpool.
PSG replicate their performance, or they missed their chance.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I'd probably say Liverpool as well. I think PSG put up a good fight, but they kind of fucked up.
They can do all that running around and shooting and shit, but what I saw from Allison, that's That's like it just reminded me of a guy that I grew up with in high school. I know we're trying to wrap up the show, but it just didn't matter. Any girl ever in high school, he was pulling them. He was just like the quarterback, the athlete that everyone loved. And it didn't matter the woman, no matter where she came from, they all love him. And I just think, as far as Allison's concerned, when it comes to saving goals, he is that guy.
Fair enough. All right, guys, that was episode 2 of the new show on YouTube, Just Saying, with Jacob and Staffy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like on both streams. Yes, we are live on my stream, on Jacob's stream. So if you liked it on one stream, there's no reason why you don't go to the other stream and like it. So make sure you leave a like on both channels. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. And I'll probably be live tomorrow. I feel like doing a watch along for that charity, the Sidemen charity match. So maybe I'll do that. So watch out to that. Turn on the notifications bells. Let us know your thoughts on the comments and everyone who spoke about. And next week, when we post the stream, probably Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday or Friday again. Once you see that link set up, make sure you get in the comments and suggest in the comment right now for this video, what do you want us to talk about next? Obviously, we talk United, we talk Spurs, but anything outside of those two, let us know what you guys want us to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Obviously, no politics. I ain't trying to get canceled.
Well, anything.
If you open that box, if that box gets open, pray.
Let us know what you guys want us to talk about in relation to sports. Mouse down phone might be a video, yes. We're out, guys. Have a good night.